Hola y bienvenidos otra vez. Hoy vamos a empezar unidad 5 y vamos a hablar sobre los mandatos. ¿Qué son los mandatos? En inglés, los mandatos significa commands. Okay, so today we're continuing our discussion on commands and how to tell someone what to do. Okay, in class during our last session, we talked about to-form commands. Okay, just to remember that we use a to-form command with someone we're familiar with, someone we're on a first-name basis with, such as a friend or a sibling, etc. If you look at your chart on your note guide, you'll remember that in formation, to tell them what to do, so to say it affirmatively, you just use the he/she form, okay, or drop the S from the to form, and say habla for speak, or come, eat. Okay, when you're telling them what not to do, the formation involves a few more steps. You go to the yo form, drop the O, and add the opposite ending. So don't speak, no hables. Don't eat, no comas. Okay? So today what we're going to do is take our knowledge of to-form commands and expand that to usted and ustedes. Alright, first we're going to talk about usted form commands affirmatively. Okay, so under your usage box, please write that when you use an usted form command, it's the formal or polite way to tell someone what to do. Okay, so use with someone you're not on a first name basis with, such as a teacher, principal, etc. Formation, very similar to how you formed your negative to form. Number 1, you need to go to the yo form. 2, drop the O. 3, add the opposite usted form ending. So that's adding an E to an AR verb and adding an A to an ER-IR verb. Okay, so under hablar, how would you tell Mrs. Thompson? Speak. Mrs. Thompson, eat. Take it through your steps and you're going to come up with señora, hable, y señora, coma. Okay, so that's it on formation for usted affirmative commands. How do I form a negative usted command? First, let's fill in our boxes for usage. Okay, this is just the polite or formal way to tell someone what not to do. And you're really going to like the formation. The formation is very simple. Okay, just like the affirmative. Go to the yo form. Drop the O. Add the opposite usted form ending, and then you just put a no in front. So essentially, affirmative and negative usted commands are formed the exact same way. The only difference is step 4. Okay, with negative usted commands, all you have to do is put a no in front. So how would you tell me, señora, don't talk, señora, don't eat? You would say, señora, no hable. Señora, no coma. Okay? Now, jump over to the irregular verbs. Okay? So you're on this usted column, but jump down a little bit to the irregulars. Okay. Now, usted form commands don't share the same irregulars as your affirmative to form. There's only 5. Okay, so let's go over those 5. First, we have ser. Its formation is sea. And yes, for the negative, it would be no sea. Number 2, ir. Its irregular usted command is vaya. And yep, you guessed it. Don't go, no vaya. Saber, sepa. Don't know, no sepa. Give. If you're telling me, señora, give me, you would say de. And then for the negative, it is no de. Lastly, estar. Be, este. Don't be, no este. And like I already mentioned, do notice that your affirmative and negative share the same irregulars. Okay, now go over to the ustedes column. Okay, so to form our ustedes and how do we use it? First, usage. Okay, this is what you're going to use. You're going to use ustedes commands to tell a group of people what to do. So anytime you're talking to more than one person. You guys hear ustedes commands all the time in class. When I say, saquen la tarea, abren los libros, cierren los libros, siéntense, levántense. Those are all ustedes commands. How do we form them? Very similar to how we formed our usted commands. Okay, step 1, go to the yo form. Step 2, drop the o. Step 3, add the opposite ustedes form ending. So the opposite, you would add en to AR verbs and an to ER-IR verbs. Okay, so let's go over to the negative ustedes commands. Oh, please forgive me, I did forget for hablar and comer. If you were telling the whole class, clase por favor, speak Spanish, you would say clase por favor, hablen español. And if I was telling the whole class, hey, eat a snack, I would say coman. Coman una merienda. Okay, now let's go over to the negative column. Usage. Again, you're going to use this to tell a group of people what not to do. Formation. I bet you can already guess how to form it, just like you did the affirmative ones. Step 1, go to the yo form. Step 2, drop the o. Step 3, add en to AR verbs. And add an to ER-IR verbs. And step 4, just put a no in front. So just like our usted commands, the affirmative and negative ustedes commands are exactly the same. The only difference is step 4. You just put that no in front. Okay, so how would I tell the class, don't speak and don't eat? No hablen and no coman. Okay. Irregular verbs. You could probably already guess these. Yep, it's the same 5 from the usted irregular verbs. Their only difference is going to be the formation. They're going to all have an in on the end of them. So ser, if I'm telling the whole class, be honest. Sean honestos. The negative of that, don't be, no sean. Ir, tell the whole class go, I'd say vayan. Don't go, no vayan. If I was telling the whole class know this information, I would say sepan. Telling you don't know, no sepan. Dar, telling you give me your homework, den. Don't give, no den. You'll notice that it's slightly different from the usted. Okay, the usted form, irregular command was de with an accent. Okay, this one it drops the accent. Why? De has an accent on it purely to distinguish it from the word de, meaning of or from. Lastly, estar, estén. And don't be, no estén. And as I already pointed out to you, the negative and affirmative share the exact same set of irregulars. Okay, please flip to the back side of your note guide, and we're going to talk about some spelling changes that are going to occur with commands. Your favorite, cargar. These verbs are going to have a spelling change. Why? To keep pronunciation. These spelling changes are only going to occur with the negative 2, and then both affirmative and negative with usted, and both affirmative and negative with ustedes. Okay, so these spelling changes apply to all of your commands except the affirmative 2 form. Okay, So, same spelling changes are going to occur like they did in the preterite. If you have a car verb, the C is going to change to QU. So, if I was using an usted command, okay, and you were saying, hey, señora, play the guitar, you would tell me, señora, toque la guitarra. Make sure you put that spelling change in there. If not, you have just spelled tose. You don't want tose. Your gar verbs, the G will go to GU. If you were telling me, hey, señora, pay the bill, you would tell me, señora, pague la cuenta. And lastly, ZAR verbs, the Z will go to C. Okay, so if you're telling me, señora, start, begin, you would say, empiece. You'll notice here, empezar is a stem changing verb. The stem change is here. Why? Well, don't forget step 1 of formation with usted and ustedes and negative 2 form commands. You've got to go to the yo form. Okay, the yo form of empezar is empiezo, right? It's got its stem change. So I had empiezo, I dropped my O, and I added the opposite ending, leaving me with empiece. All right, let's do some practice. On the practice, in addition to this, I also want you to fill out the chart that you see there in section B on your note guide. Okay, so take tocar all the way across. Okay, affirmative 2 form, negative 2 form, affirmative usted, negative usted, affirmative ustedes, negative ustedes, etc. Same thing with pagar and empezar. Fill out that entire chart so I can make sure you are forming your commands correctly. Once you complete that, then go to your practice. Here are your 6 practice exercises. Okay, you'll see I've got some 2 form commands, usted form commands, and ustedes. I would like you to go ahead and pause the video and work through these practice exercises. These are verbs that come from this brand new vocab set, so if you don't know to add, to beat, to mix, etc., please look on your vocab sheet. Okay, here are your answers. Please check. If you were telling a friend, eat, you would say come. If you were telling a friend, don't talk, you would say no hables. If you were telling me, señora, add sugar, añada. Señora, don't beat the eggs, you would say no bata. 5, I was telling the whole class, mix, mezclan. Please forgive me, that is a spelling error. This X should be a Z. Please forgive me on that. And lastly, if you were telling me, or telling the whole group of people, the whole class, don't taste, don't try, no prueben. Okay, if you have any additional questions on commands and forming them, please look at page 259 in your textbook.